Nathaniel, welcome to Dubrovnik. How do you feel?
Dragomir, nice to meet you. Very happy to be here. It's a beautiful place, first time in Dubrovnik.
Okay, what are you going to do?
Well, today is actually going to be just a day between me and Mum. It's the first time she's come back to Croatia. For a lot of people that don't know, my grandmother was a refugee. She lived in Hvar, and her grandfather, or my grandfather, was unfortunately killed by communists at the time, and they fled a long time ago, just after the Second World War. And my mum was born in Egypt, but she was brought up Croatian. She learnt Croatian as her first language, so it was very hard living, as a refugee in Australia. They were very poor, so for me, bringing my mum back here was a promise that I made as a 12-year-old kid. So today is our first official day in Dubrovnik, and then I'm going to take her to Split and then Hvar. So it's very special to me, and this place is very special.
How does your mom feel now?
She was overwhelmed at first, I don't think it's sort of sunk in, and it's funny because she says, oh, my Croatian isn't that good. I haven't spoke because my grandmother passed away sadly, in '96, so she hasn't spoke Croatian for a very long time, but everybody's been saying that no one could tell that she wasn't born here. Her Croatian is so good and she sounds so Croatian, so I almost get so happy when I see her speaking with other Croatians. It makes me very proud.
You know Croatian?
Yeah, samo malo. So I could say hello. Obviously my friends in high school.
Možemo li razgovarati na hrvatskom od sada?
Što?
You talking Croatian?
I could say kako si, dobro hvala, šta radiš, ništa, and then obviously my friends back in Australia, my Croatian friends taught me how to swear fluently, but I won't be saying any of those on camera.
Okay, you're here with your mom. Where is your girlfriend?
No girlfriends.
No girlfriends?
No.
So, do you want to make a call for them?
Some
hot Croatian?
I tweeted once, and I still stick to this, that I would love to marry a Croatian girl. That would be in a perfect world, because I do want my children to speak Croatian first. So, and for them to do that, we need someone who speaks very good Croatian. So obviously a Croatian girl is going to have to do, because mine's a little bit rusty. So yeah, if there's anyone looking for a serious relationship out there, it would be long distance, but you could live in Hollywood half the year, I guess. So yeah.
So you became famous after Vampire Diaries.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that?
Yeah, look, Vampire Diaries is actually quite special to me because I've been working as an actor for a long time in Australia, and also, obviously because my grandmother was a refugee, we grew up extremely poor, because my mum was really struggling, and my dad decided to leave my mum with me and my brother, so it was hard for us as well. And the idea of becoming a successful actor, particularly in Hollywood, was so far stretched it was almost impossible, and a lot of people didn't believe that I could do it. So although Vampire Diaries isn't necessarily a huge role, it was an accomplishment in itself, coming from nothing and proving a lot of people wrong. And what I've learnt most in this world is that you've got to not listen to what the outside world is telling you, because the outside world really does often want you to conform, and if you're not necessarily the most the prettiest person in the world or the richest, people don't think you can be successful, and I like to sort of prove that wrong, and for me, when I got Vampire Diaries, it was it was like 5 years worth of auditioning in the US, and I'd come very close to lots and lots of jobs, including the role of Stefan, which is obviously one of the main characters on Vampire Diaries. So what a lot of people don't know is that role actually came down to myself and Paul, and they had to just sort of flip a coin to see who gets it. And I'm a big believer in God, and he made a decision that day that I wasn't ready for that sort of responsibility, but Vampire Diaries came back a few years later and offered me the role of Cole, and it's been incredible, and I've been blown away by the popularity of the show. When you shoot something like that, you go on set in Atlanta and you do your job, and you don't realize that millions of people are going to watch it. You kind of it's just a job to you. So when you go to other countries, and I've been traveling around Europe for 2 months now, and people recognize you, you kind of forget why, and you forget that, oh my gosh, Vampire Diaries is a huge deal. And I think it's an honor to be able to play a vampire. Now that I'm in Dubrovnik, I want to work on my tan a little bit, but
find a girl.
Yeah, and find a girl. Yeah, of course. That's two things. Busy. Maybe I just go to the beach, find a girl, and get a tan. two birds, one stone.
Okay, what does that key means?
Actually, a lot of people ask me that, and I wish I had an amazing story or it was the key to my heart. But it's literally just the key I really, really liked. I bought it in Florence, and everyone always comments on it, you know. So I always wear this, and something that my Croatian priest gave me when I was back in Australia, which is obviously the cross of Assisi. So yeah, and this has been with me since I was a little boy, and all the Croatians obviously wear it back in Australia. It's almost like you know someone's Croatian if they're wearing this. There you go. the proof is in the pudding. So yeah, so it's almost like your way of saying you're Croatian, I guess. You know.
Okay. What in the future? What are you doing now? What are your plans in the future?
Yeah. So at this stage, obviously they're doing the new series, the originals. Although my character has sadly passed away, there's going to be a lot of opportunities for flashbacks. You know, because the originals is such a great story, and it sort of goes into the world of, you know, how these vampires became who they were and why people were sort of so scared of this original family, and you know how they started this sort of, you know, global trend. So there's going to be a lot of opportunities for us to flash back and look into the sort of past stories, and that's sort of where my character is probably going to start popping back in, which is really exciting. The advantage that I have is that I can also audition for other things, and there's lots of shows that I would love to work on. There's one I'm auditioning for at the moment, which I can't say, but I hope I get it because it would be nice to come back to Dubrovnik. But yeah, and you know, like I go back to LA in a couple of weeks, and you know, my agents and managers are really excited to get me back there and you know, sort of do good work. So I'm just surprised I'm known in Croatia now. I never expected that, you know, like I know that you go out to the States and like, okay, you might get some sort of success over there and people will know who you are, but it's such an honor to know that people know that you're Croatian, and I hope I can do this country proud and become one of the most successful actors, you know, and sort of give it back to Croatia a little bit, because we deserve it. We are great at everything, aren't we? So very proud people.
Thank you very much for this interview, and hope you'll enjoy in Dubrovnik.
Thank you so much. Hrvatska moja domovina, and I love you all. Ja volim te puno. Mwah.